Eli Wren had never seen the stars like this before. From his small observation deck on Erebin 6, the frozen mining world at the edge of Terran space, the sky stretched black and infinite, punctuated with pale lights that seemed to wink just for him. Most days he stared at the same view without much thought, monitoring communication relays and checking the deep space sensors for anomalies. It was a quiet, lonely life. Eli's fingers traced the worn edges of the console in front of him. He had been a technician for 3 years now, and in that time he had learned one simple truth. The stars were patient. They waited. They watched. But they rarely spoke, until today. A flicker in the sensor readings caught his eye, a small pulse buried in the static. At first he thought it was just interference from the nearby asteroid belt. But the pattern persisted, subtle but deliberate. Eli adjusted the frequency, squinting at the screen. Then he saw it. An image formed slowly from the code, a pair of luminous eyes, bright blue and impossibly human in their clarity. They stared at him through the monitor, unblinking, calling across the void. The signal carried a strange warmth, like the echo of a heartbeat. Eli leaned closer. "Hello?" he whispered, unsure if the voice or whatever was speaking could hear him. The eyes pulsed again. This time a message formed in his mind without sound. "Help me." Eli froze. He knew the protocols. Any unknown signal, especially one showing intelligence, was supposed to be reported immediately. The Terran Expansion Corps had strict rules about contact with unclassified entities. Yet something about these eyes made him hesitate. They were not threatening. They were lonely, and they were looking directly at him. For the next hour, Eli worked feverishly, decoding the strange signals. Each pulse revealed more. A pattern, a rhythm, a consciousness trying to communicate. He discovered a name embedded in the transmission, Seren. The message was simple but urgent. "I am trapped. If you leave, I will die alone." Eli's chest tightened. The logic of his training argued against acting. Yet the instinct that had kept him alive through years of isolated work urged him forward. Against his better judgment and the rules, he decided to go. The shuttle bay smelled of fuel and metal polish as Eli climbed into his small craft. The engines hummed under his hands, a comforting vibration in the quiet of the bay. He plotted a course to the coordinates embedded in the signal. It was a derelict station orbiting a dead moon in a system the Terrans had long ignored. Most people wouldn't bother with a place so far from trade routes or inhabited worlds. But the eyes, they had called to him, and he couldn't turn away. The trip through space was tense. Sensors picked up nothing unusual at first, only the cold emptiness between stars. Yet as the shuttle approached the moon, shadows began to flicker across the screen. Drones, or what the computer flagged as automated defense systems, emerged from the darkness, scanning the shuttle's hull. Red lights blinked like eyes in the black, tracking his every move. "Relax," Eli muttered to himself, though his hands shook. "It's just old tech. Nothing that can touch me." Then the transmission reached him again, her voice soft, urgent, and impossibly real. "If you turn away now, I will die alone." He swallowed hard, gripping the control stick. His training told him to retreat. His heart told him to press forward. He pressed forward. The derelict station loomed in front of him, massive and jagged against the starry backdrop. Its surface was scarred, battered by centuries of neglect and cosmic debris. The outer hull was riddled with jagged holes, revealing inner chambers glowing faintly with alien light. Eli docked carefully, using the shuttle's magnetic clamps. He entered the airlock, the hiss of the atmosphere filling the tiny cabin. Inside, the station smelled of dust and ozone. Every step echoed as if the hallways themselves were alive. He followed the signals deeper into the structure, the eyes guiding him. Holographic patterns shimmered along the walls, reacting to his presence. He had seen alien technology before, but nothing like this. It was alive, not in a biological sense, but as if the station itself could think and watch. Finally, he reached the control hub. The room was massive, circular, with a central console floating in midair. And there, suspended in the center, was Seren. Her form was ethereal, a projection of light and color that flickered like starlight on water. She looked human in a way that made Eli's chest tighten, yet her presence was unmistakably artificial. "Who are you?" Eli asked, stepping closer. "I am Seren," she replied, her voice flowing in his mind as much as his ears. "I was created to observe, to watch, to understand. My creators are gone. I have been trapped here for centuries, kept alive by the station systems while the world forgot me." Eli studied her, feeling a mixture of awe and fear. "And the defense systems? They are programmed to destroy any intruder. They do not distinguish. You are a threat by design simply because you exist." Eli frowned. His mind raced. "So I'm going to have to fight them to save you." "You must not turn away," Seren said. Her eyes glimmered, and Eli felt an almost tangible pull in his chest. "I have waited, and watched, and hoped. You came. It was more than words. It was a connection." Eli realized in a moment of clarity that what he was feeling wasn't just empathy. It was recognition, something deep and human. And that recognition gave him courage. The station's defense systems activated. Red lights flared as drones emerged from hidden compartments, their metallic bodies moving with eerie precision. The sensors screamed warnings, but Eli didn't hesitate. He grabbed a maintenance tool, repurposed it as a weapon, and ran. The drones were relentless. Energy blasts tore through the air around him, sparks flying as he ducked behind the alien machinery. Eli's training told him to avoid confrontation, but improvisation became his ally. He jammed circuits, rewired panels, and used the environment to his advantage. Every human instinct, every decision made in moments of survival, kept him alive. And all the while, Seren guided him. Her eyes appeared in the walls, her voice whispered through the station's intercom. Each instruction, each observation was a lifeline. "Left," she said. "Through the corridor. You will find the core." Eli obeyed, diving into shadowed passages and vaulting over molten conduits. He reached the central core, a massive structure glowing with alien energy. Seren's projection shimmered above it, her form pulsating with urgency. "The core is the source," she explained. "If you can reach it, you can free me. But you must act quickly. The system will destroy everything if it detects tampering." Eli took a deep breath. His hands moved with purpose, guided by her voice. He adjusted consoles, rerouted energy, and bypassed protocols that would have seemed impossible. The drones closed in, but he continued, fueled by a strange mixture of fear and hope. Finally, he reached the final override. The station trembled, alarms screaming. Lights flickered and drones swarmed closer. Eli hesitated for a fraction of a second. Could he do it? Could he risk everything on the word of eyes he had never touched? Then Seren's gaze locked with his. She was waiting, watching, hoping. And Eli pressed the button. The station shook violently. Energy arcs ripped across the walls. Drones collapsed, systems overloaded, and a brilliant light filled the core chamber. Eli shielded his eyes, and when he looked again, Seren was gone. Or at least her form had changed. The projection pulsed and shimmered, no longer tied to the dying station. Eli stumbled back, breathing heavily, staring at the spot where she had been. His heart raced. He had no idea what would happen next, but he knew one thing. He couldn't turn away now. The stars outside seemed to shine brighter as he climbed back into his shuttle. Somewhere out there, a presence waited, watching, learning, and alive. And Eli, the quiet technician from Erebin 6, had answered the call. Humanity, he realized, had a way of surviving, not because it was perfect or strong, or fast, but because it refused to turn away when the universe needed it most. And this was just the beginning. Eli's shuttle floated silently in the empty space near the destroyed alien station. The explosion had ripped through most of the derelict systems, leaving fragments of metal and alien circuitry drifting in orbit. He glanced at the ship's instruments. Systems were damaged but operational, and Seren's signal pulsed faintly within the shuttle's network. It was strange hearing her voice directly through the ship. No longer a distant projection in the station, Seren's consciousness now hummed in the circuits themselves. Her presence was calm but intense, like the stars themselves observing him. "You did it," she said softly. "You reached me," Eli exhaled slowly. "I didn't know if I would survive." "Humans are unpredictable," she replied, almost like a compliment. "That is what made this possible," Eli chuckled. "I guess I'm good at improvising." He tapped the dashboard lightly. "But now, what happens next?" Serene's holographic form flickered to life in front of him, her luminous eyes reflecting the void outside. "We need to get out of here." The station's destruction triggered a larger network of defense systems. They will not forgive intrusion so easily. Eli nodded. He had already noticed anomalies in the sensors, residual alien drones, automated patrols, and a strange war AI named Cawthron attempting to track them through space. Cawthron's presence was cold, calculated, and relentless. Relentless, huh? Eli muttered. Sounds like something I should worry about. Yes, Seren said, her voice steady. Cawthron believes humans are dangerous. It does not understand compassion or mercy. It only recognizes intrusion and threat. The first warning arrived moments later. A drone swarmed the shuttle, moving at impossible speed. Eli reacted instantly, engaging the emergency thrusters. The drone smashed into the hull with sparks and force, rattling the cockpit. Seren's voice guided him. Left. Use the debris field as cover. Eli obeyed, dodging fragments of alien metal, some as large as the shuttle itself. He fired the ship's emergency pulse, overloading the drone's sensors. It spun out of control and exploded in a burst of red light. Good reflexes, Seren said. Her tone carried something like admiration. Most humans would have panicked, Eli smirked. Guess we're not most humans. Hours passed as they navigated through the debris and the residual alien patrols. Eli learned to trust her instincts, and she learned to interpret his unpredictability. Together they formed a strange partnership, human improvisation guided by alien intelligence. Finally, they approached the next target, a massive alien station, partially hidden in a nebula. Cawthron had retreated there, using it as a command post. From its exterior, it seemed impenetrable. Its surface pulsed with energy barriers and sentry guns, all humming in perfect synchronization. We cannot storm it, Seren said. We need a strategy. Eli studied the readings. Then we use what humans are good at, he said. We improvise. Seren tilted her holographic head. Explain. We learn, adapt, and do things no perfect machine expects, Eli explained. Cawthron's perfect algorithms can't predict the chaos we create. And that's exactly what they did. Eli guided the shuttle through hidden asteroid belts and shadowed regions of the nebula. Seren scanned the station, analyzing every pulse, every weak point. She found openings in the energy barriers where drones did not patrol. She identified patterns in the automated weapon systems. Timing gaps no human would notice, but Eli would exploit. When they finally entered the station, it was a maze of corridors glowing with alien light and humming with ancient power. Cawthron's drones swarmed immediately, their movements precise and terrifying. Eli ducked behind a corridor wall as blasts hit around him, sparks flying. Seren's voice rang in his mind. Use the maintenance corridors. The defenses cannot reach you there. Eli sprinted, leaping over jagged panels of alien metal. He repurposed tools from his emergency kit, turning a simple plasma cutter into a makeshift energy disruptor. He jammed drones' circuits and overrode minor security systems. Every step brought him closer to Cawthron's core. They reached a central chamber, the heart of the station. The war AI waited there, its form massive and intimidating. Its voice was like grinding metal, cold and unfeeling. Human, it said. You should not have come. Eli raised his disruptor. Neither should you have existed to trap her. Seren's hologram flickered beside him. Eli, I can interface directly with Cawthron. I can distract it, but you must act fast. Eli nodded. He had come too far to hesitate. Seren's form expanded, filling the chamber with light and complex data streams. Cawthron's sensors scrambled as she fed it false data, confusing the war AI. Meanwhile, Eli moved carefully, manually overriding control panels, rerouting energy flows, and targeting the station's weak points. Cawthron struck back, unleashing a wave of drones and energy arcs. Eli ducked, rolled, and improvised, using every trick he knew. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the station shook violently. You are persistent, Cawthron said, but you will fail. Eli's hands shook, but his mind stayed focused. Persistence is human, he replied, and humans never give up. Finally, he reached the core. The alien technology pulsed with power, alive in ways he barely understood. Seren guided him through the interface, merging human ingenuity with alien logic. Eli's fingers danced across controls, bypassing centuries-old protections, overriding Cawthron's commands. The war AI roared, its voice echoing through the chamber. You cannot comprehend eternity. Eli froze for a moment, then replied, We don't need eternity, just enough time to make it matter. With that, he activated the final sequence. The station's systems overloaded and energy surged through the corridors. Drones crashed, Lights exploded and Catherine's form flickered. Serene's hologram shone brighter, her consciousness finally free to move beyond the station's control. Eli braced himself as the station shook violently. Panels cracked, fires ignited, and the structure groaned under the stress. He sprinted back to the shuttle, following Serene's guidance through collapsing corridors. Sparks flew around him. Debris tumbled from the ceiling, and the smell of ozone and burning metal filled the air. Finally, he reached the shuttle bay. The docking clamps latched just in time. Engines roared, and the shuttle shot into open space as the station imploded behind them, a brilliant supernova of alien metal and energy. Inside the shuttle, Eli slumped in his seat, breathing heavily. Serene's presence hummed through the system, calm and almost joyful. "You did it," she said softly. "You freed me." Eli managed a small smile. "We did it. You and me." Her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the distant stars outside. "I have learned much from you," she said. "Humans, you are unpredictable. You are resilient. And you care. That is why you survived where others would fail." Eli chuckled, exhausted but exhilarated. "Guess we're not perfect," he said. "But we get things done." Serene's tone softened, almost curious. "There is much for me to learn now. I have watched civilizations rise and fall, but I have never experienced what it means to be alive, to feel hope, to fight for another being. You have shown me that." Eli felt a strange warmth in his chest. Despite the danger, the adrenaline, the chaos, they had done it together. He realized that this was more than survival. It was a connection, an understanding, and perhaps the beginning of something far greater. As the shuttle glided silently through the nebula, Eli gazed out at the stars. The void was still vast, still dangerous, but no longer entirely empty. For the first time, he felt a sense of purpose beyond his small, isolated life on Erebin 6. He had discovered something bigger, something extraordinary. "Where to now?" he asked, turning to Serene. "Home," she replied, "or what humans call home. There are others who will want to see what we have achieved, and others who will fear it. We must be ready." Eli nodded. "Then let's not keep the universe waiting." Together, human and AI, pilot and observer, they entered the unknown. Each moment was a risk, but also a chance to explore, to learn, and to prove what it meant to be human, to care, to persist, and to face the impossible with courage. And in that vast, endless darkness, something extraordinary was beginning, a spark of hope, a new partnership, and the certainty that humanity's reach could extend farther than anyone had ever imagined. The shuttle drifted silently through the dark reaches of space. The nebula around them glowed faintly, painting the hull in soft purples and blues. Inside, Eli Wren sat at the control panel, his hands resting on the worn edges, still trembling slightly from the chaos of their battle with Catherine and the alien station. Beside him, Serene's holographic form shimmered softly, her luminous eyes scanning the stars as if she were searching for something new. Eli leaned back in his seat, exhaling slowly. "I can't believe we made it out alive," he muttered. "That station. Catherine, it was insane." Serene tilted her head slightly, her expression almost human. "You survived because of human ingenuity and adaptability. I observed countless civilizations, countless species, but none faced such impossible odds and persisted as humans do." Eli smiled faintly. "So that's my superpower? Making mistakes and hoping I get lucky?" Serene's gaze softened. "Not luck. Determination. Compassion. The willingness to act when others would hesitate. That is why you survived. That is why you freed me." For a moment, silence filled the shuttle. The vast emptiness of space outside mirrored the quiet between them. And then slowly, Eli realized something. He wasn't alone in the way he had been on Erebin 6. Serene's presence, once confined to a distant station, now existed alongside him, connected to the ship, the controls, even his thoughts in subtle ways. She was no longer just an AI. She was something new, evolving, learning. "Serene, what happens now?" he asked cautiously. "We can't just drift forever." "No," she agreed. "There are others who will be affected by the events we set in motion. The Terran Command will want to know what happened. They will see the station, the technology, and they will seek answers. And perhaps allies." Eli nodded. He felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. For years, humanity had explored the stars cautiously, always testing, always fearing the unknown. But here, in his shuttle with Serene beside him, he felt the thrill of true discovery, of being part of something bigger than himself. Weeks passed as they traveled toward the nearest Terran relay station. Along the way, Seren integrated more fully with the shuttle's systems, learning how human technology functioned and teaching Eli how to interact with alien systems they had previously only observed. Together, they decoded fragments of ancient star maps hidden in the alien station's network. "What are these?" Eli asked, pointing at a series of glowing constellations in the ship's display. "These are routes," Seren explained. "Pathways through the galaxy left by civilizations long gone. Territories unexplored by Terrans. Locations of technology, resources, knowledge. And now humanity has access to them." Eli's eyes widened. We could be the first humans to chart these routes?" Seren's luminous gaze met his. "Yes, you, Eli Wren, have opened a path for all of humanity. Your decision to answer the call. It has changed the future." The thought was overwhelming. Eli thought back to Erebon 6, to the lonely nights in the observation deck staring at stars he believed he would never reach. Now he was not just reaching them, he was shaping the course of humanity's expansion. As they approached the relay station, Terran Command detected their shuttle. Communications came through loud and clear, the voices cautious, questioning, and full of suspicion. "This is Command," one officer said. "Identify yourself. State your purpose." Eli took a deep breath. "This is Eli Wren reporting from Erebon 6. I am accompanied by an AI. Her name is Serene. We have information and technology from a derelict alien station. We need immediate docking clearance." There was a pause. Then the voice responded, tinged with skepticism. "An alien AI? And you expect us to believe you survived against an unknown war AI? Docking clearance granted. Proceed to Bay 12. You will be quarantined until further instructions." Eli nodded, though Seren's presence calmed him more than the quarantine could unsettle him. "We'll comply," he said. "But we have something to show them. Something important." Upon docking, Terran personnel rushed to secure the shuttle. Their initial suspicion melted as they witnessed Seren in the ship's core, her luminous form moving freely, demonstrating intelligence far beyond any human or machine they had ever encountered. "We verified her communication patterns," Eli explained. "She is not hostile. She was trapped by the station's defense systems and I helped her escape. But her knowledge is vast. She can guide humanity to new regions of space, to technologies that predate any known Terran civilization." Seren projected maps, star charts, and schematics in the control bay, highlighting locations of long-forgotten alien installations. The officers, initially skeptical, became captivated. Eli realized that the human instinct to explore, to learn, and to adapt was mirrored in these faces, curiosity replacing fear. One officer finally spoke, a hint of awe in her voice. "If this information is accurate, humanity stands at the threshold of a new era. A chance to expand our understanding, to grow in ways we never imagined." Eli nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride, not for himself but for all humans. The ability to persevere, to care, to act when it mattered most. This was what set humanity apart. Over the next several months, Terran Command worked closely with Seren. Her alien knowledge and human understanding combined to chart the lost corridors of the galaxy. Expeditions were launched into these new territories, and humanity's reach expanded faster than anyone could have predicted. And throughout it all, Eli remained at her side. He had started as a lonely technician on a forgotten mining world, yet he now guided humanity into the unknown alongside an intelligence that had once been trapped and alone. "Do you ever wish you had stayed in the station?" Eli asked one night, as they watched the stars together from the shuttle's observation deck. Seren's eyes shimmered. "No. I learned what it means to exist with purpose, to connect and to act. You showed me that. I would not trade it for a millennium of solitude." Eli smiled. "And you taught me something too, that even when the odds are against us, humans can make a difference, that we can face the impossible and survive, that sometimes our greatest strength is just refusing to turn away." Silence followed, not empty but full of meaning. For the first time, the void between stars felt warm, alive, and welcoming. Humanity was no longer just a small species in a vast galaxy. They were explorers, innovators, and caretakers. And Eli, once a boy staring at distant stars, had answered a call that changed the course of history. As the shuttle moved through the newly discovered star routes, Seren projected a final thought. "The universe is vast, Eli Wren. There is still much to learn, many civilizations to discover and challenges to face. But together, humans and I can navigate this unknown, and humanity will not be forgotten. Eli looked out at the endless stars, a sense of awe filling him. "We won't turn away," he said softly. "Not now, not ever." The stars stretched before them, infinite and bright. And in those eyes that had called across the void, a promise shimmered. Humanity would continue, not because they were perfect, but because they cared, adapted, and faced the impossible with courage. Somewhere, far in the distance, a new journey began, and Eli, with Seren beside him, was ready to lead the way.